Welcome to Put Your Business Idea in Motion. This is Module 4, Finances and Funding. My name is Paula Whittakin. I'm a business analyst with Maricopa SBDC, and I will be your presenter for this program. You should have already completed the first 3 modules of the program, but if you have not, be sure to go back and complete those modules before continuing with Module 4. As a reminder, the purpose of this video program is to help you prepare for your initial counseling session, guiding you through key topics that you will discuss with your counselor. Remember to document your findings. If you already have a written business plan, look for potential gaps or ways to refine your information. At this early phase of planning your business venture, you need to estimate the monies needed to start, open the business, and see it through to profitability. When you know these costs, you can then plan for funding sources. This step is very important to avoid getting yourself and your business into debt from which it may be difficult to recover. In this module, we briefly introduce these concepts and provide you with some tools and resources to identify the monies needed to start and open your business. Do your best to accurately identify your business costs. Your SBDC counselor will be able to guide and give you some additional feedback in your counseling sessions. Before you continue, download the Cost Budget Decision template from your Growth Wheel portal. Pause the video here if you need some time to access that template. Let's begin with startup costs. Do you know how much money you will need to pay out before you open for business? Think of these as one-time costs. The list may be longer than you realize and typically includes items such as lease and leasehold improvements, maybe a real estate purchase, license and permit costs, professional services, equipment and supplies, vehicles, inventory, insurance, pre-opening salaries, utilities, advertising and marketing, and so on. These costs add up quickly, and it is important to develop a comprehensive list of those startup expenses. Do you know how much working capital you will need? Working capital, sometimes referred to as operating capital, is the money needed to meet those day-to-day operating expenses after you open for business. As you work to generate sales, you will need to be able to cover those monthly recurring costs. To develop a simple estimate of your working capital needs, just calculate a typical monthly expense. What is that total for a month? And then multiply that monthly expense amount by either 12, 18 months, or perhaps more. Note that this calculation does not take into account for any revenues generated, but keep in mind that it can take time to grow sales, while these monthly expenses do not go away. Being realistic about your working capital needs is very important. Many businesses fail due to lack of cash flow. Accurate estimates of startup costs and working capital needs will help you plan appropriately for the funding needs of your new business as you grow sales and move towards a position of profitability. The Cost Budget Wheel template can help guide you through your cost exploration. The template's broken down into cost categories with room to identify types of cost and timing, either monthly or yearly. The remaining columns in the template deal with reducing costs and price considerations that may be helpful as you open and review your budget on a regular basis. Stop here and take a few minutes to become familiar with that cost budget template. After you have calculated the money needed to start, open, and operate your business, you will need to identify your funding source. The reality is that most new businesses need to draw on personal financial reserves, friends, and family. There are lenders that offer startup loans, but they are not always easy to obtain. Now, there are, of course, other sources such as investors, crowdfunding, alternate lenders, and others not shown here. Some business owners will use credit cards to start their business, but a word of warning, use these types of resources very carefully. It can be easy to get into debt from which is very difficult to recover. Also know that if you are seeking funding from an outside source, you will need to prepare a business plan with complete financial projections. You will also need to provide personal financial information and have a strong credit score. Your SBDC counselor can discuss with you each of these topics in more detail. Your next activity is to calculate your startup and working capital needs. To document, use a spreadsheet tool such as Excel. but there are also some online business planning software tools that make the overall process easy to complete. You will also find some financial templates at the SCORE Financial Template Gallery. That website link is shown on the screen. After you know how much capital you need to start and operate your business, you will want to consider your funding sources. Do your best to document the costs. Your counselor can provide additional help with this task in counseling sessions. This concludes Module 4. Continue now to Module 5, Setting Up Your Business for Success. Thank you.